Well, I raised the question on Sunday's Media Buzz about how much free airtime Donald Trump gets. And I'm not referring here to the interviews he does. I'll have more to say about that in a moment. But when he has press conferences and rallies, and suddenly you look up at the screen, I have a bunch of TVs, and you see CNN and Fox and MSNBC taking them live for a long period of time. In fact, I read on the air some research we had done about the press conference that he held last Friday, the Chris Christie endorsement, followed by a rally about half an hour later, and how both Fox and CNN had taken these events live for more than an hour, MSNBC, I think, for almost 50 minutes. And this happens again and again. It happened a lot more when Trump first got in the race. Then it kind of slacked off for a while. And now it seems to be happening again and again. Now, you could make the argument he's the front runner in the race. He deserves more attention. But I do think there's a serious question here about whether it's unfair to other candidates. Got an email from Tony in Ohio. Tony says, Mr. Kurtz, many in the media scoff at the idea they're in the bag for Trump, or at least for his ratings. However, nearly every rally, press conference, even tweet is covered in full and for free. They may show 60 seconds of Rubio or Kasich, but then 30 minutes of a Trump rally. Then they are shocked at how much the others spend and how little Trump does. I'm not a media marketing guy, but over the last 6 months, he must have received $100 million in free coverage. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but this has become ridiculous. Well, I do think it's unbalanced, and that's why I've brought it up on many Sundays and elsewhere on Fox, and why I brought it up this past Sunday. But I think we need to make a distinction between the degree to which cable television in particular covers Trump's pressers or rallies far more than those of other candidates. And look, he's more entertaining, he's better for ratings, I get that. But we are at a point where we have to make sure to have some balance, and to the degree that we cover, for example, the other top-tier candidates in this race, namely Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio. But I have a very different view of all the, what you might call, free airtime, the interviews that Trump has done, because he puts himself out there. He agrees to be interviewed by the Sunday show host, the morning show host, on prime time. On Fox, he talks to O'Reilly. He talks to Greta. He talks to me. He's done a lot of interviews with other key hosts at CNN and MSNBC, and on the Today Show and GMA and CBS This Morning. In doing that, he's exposing himself to questioning, some more aggressive than others, but he puts himself out there far more than the others do. I've interviewed Donald Trump 4 times. I've interviewed Ted Cruz twice. I've interviewed Marco Rubio once. I ask them week after week. Maybe they don't want to do my show or they can't schedule it, but clearly they don't do as many interviews as does Trump. When he does that, when he sits down with a journalist and puts himself out there to answer any kind of questions, that's smart presidential campaigning in my view, and he happens to be good at it. When he does the rallies and it is just him giving versions of the same speech, I do think that if we are going to cover that at length, we ought to give more attention and more balancing coverage to the other Republican candidates.